Hello.
Oh, it's so good to have you all here.
How you
How's it
doing?
going?
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm Naomi from Canada.
Hi, Naomi.
Yeah.
Hi, Naomi from Canada. How are you? I'm Ray,
Hi, Ray.
I'm Larry.
and I'm
Larry.
Roberto.
Can you repeat the last one? Sorry.
Roberto, Robert with an O.
Roberto.
Yeah.
Fantastic. 4 p.m. Welcome to Dope Nostalgia. I was going to
Thank
ask you guys, is it okay if I use any of the YouTube video or any of this video for YouTube promotion or promoting the episode on social
you.
media?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm digging the official 4 p.m. shirt.
Hey, hey, we'll get you one.
Oh, I would love one. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a podcast where we talk with artists who had big things happen in the 90s and then see what they're doing now today as well, because we want to
Right.
make sure that we keep things current as well as a little bit of reminiscing. Where are you based? Where are you based out of nowadays?
Well, we all started off the group in right outside of Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes.
So that's where we originated. That's where we were all living back in the 90s. And Ray and I are brothers. So we would spend time at either Ray's house, my house, Larry's house, rehearsing every day. We used to do a lot of a cappella, and
Mm.
that's how the group started. We did a lot of talent shows, and one of those talent shows, one of those performances, led us to our record deal with Next Plateau and Sukiyaki and Ancient History.
Yeah.
But right now, to answer your question, I'm residing in South New Jersey.
Yeah.
Larry's in both Larry and Roberto are in Maryland.
Mhm.
Larry's in kind of northern Maryland. Bobby's over here by the beach.
Eastern Shore. He's living it up.
Yeah.
We're actually in Roberto's home right now as we speak. So
But that's very close, right? South Jersey and Baltimore are pretty close
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. I think it's very important to note to our listeners too that your music contains positive messages for positive music. And
yes,
as your wiki was saying, it's very important that you have never degraded women in your songs. You try to
right.
keep things light and happy. And I think
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is.
we the three of us have been husbands for a long time. We're fathers to daughters, and we have mothers, so the idea of degrading a woman in our music just really
Just-
doesn't
it just
fit well with our morals and values at all. I mean,
Mhm.
not that we would do it anyway, right? But we thought it important not to go down that route.
It's true.
Amen.
Yeah, we got a lot of support from our families, especially our mothers and aunts and our daughters especially. And we couldn't even imagine putting out music and then saying, "Hey, look at the new record we just produced," and having to listen to it and like, really, that came out of you
Yeah.
guys' mouths,
Right.
So
My mother's German. She would beat me upside the head.
He ain't having it. Tell me about your experiences with Japan. Now, that's one of my bucket list places I have to visit one day. But the country of Japan has a huge love for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the experience started with our very first single. We recorded a song called Sukiyaki, as you know, and it opened up international doors. But one of the first countries to receive us with open arms was Japan because the song has a much longer history than the group 4 p.m. It dates back to 1963. It was originally recorded by a Japanese artist by the name of Sakamoto Q. And if I can compare him, they say he's kind of like the Elvis Presley of Japan.
And yeah.
Oh, wow.
He died tragically in a plane crash, and has always been not only a living legend but a legend altogether. And so as soon as we released that song, Japan said, "Wow, I mean, you pay tribute to Sakamoto Q. We love it, And I think we probably traveled there over 30 times, maybe.
Yeah.
in our
over
career.
30 times in 10 years.
Yeah. So it's just been like
Ooh.
a second home in a way. And in fact, one of the songs that we're recording for our upcoming LP, which will be out sometime early part of 23. We got a song that's kind of an ode to Japan. It has some Japanese sort of inflections and nuances and instruments, just to kind
Oh,
of
wow.
say thank you to Japan for being so sweet to us.
That's awesome. Have you spent, so you've spent obviously a lot of time there. Do you have
Yes.
some favorite things you like to do when you're in Japan?
Oh man.
Ooh.
Probably shopping.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
shopping. It's awesome in Japan.
Probably shopping.
Yeah.
I think different things. The fashion over there is way ahead of its time. The technology is way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there at the very beginning of our career, and after every performance, we would stay back and sign autographs and take pictures with the fans. And you should have seen our faces the very first time a young lady came and says, "Can I get a picture?" And instead of pulling out a Polaroid, she just flipped her phone and said, "Click." And it wasn't until maybe 3, 4 years later until the U.S. started, introducing the camera phones.
We were just like,
Yeah.
wow. We were like, is this Star Trek? What's going
Yeah,
on?
we were really amazed with she just took a picture with her phone. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine seeing that for the first time. I have memories of seeing the first digital camera I ever saw. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's right there. The photo is, you don't have to wait for it to get developed.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
I think we aging ourselves, aren't we?
I've accepted it. It's okay.
Right. Well, so have we. So have we.
Now, after Sukiyaki, how did things change for you as a band after the big hit? What did you do next?
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sukiyaki was a hit, and we got to travel the world. We, we toured in Canada, of course, Australia, Japan, China, the Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia,
Australia,
Indonesia.
Australia.
We traveled the world.
Mm.
Unfortunately, what happened for us is while the hit was taking us to all these foreign places, we started coming down on the charts in the US.
Right.
Mm.
So, but the record company decided, while the going is hot, just stay out there.
Right.
When we got back to the States to try to say, okay, now let's get the US on this party ride, we had already started coming down the charts, and the audiences were like, all right, well, who are they? So we went in, recorded the second album, recorded it, we renegotiated our contract for better terms. We had great songs on the second album, but then the relationship between our record companies kind of failed, and we got lost in that contractual shuffle. So we ended up, instead of being with the independent company that we signed with and was really nurturing us, we went with the larger company that was not really in our corner as much, and we just kind of went by the wayside. So
that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was pretty humbling, after having all those, 4-star hotels and limousines and audiences, and then all of a sudden, okay, well, now what are we gonna do?
Yeah. It's hard. The US market is not only hard to crack, but it's hard to maintain a foothold. And it's like you have to do it so quickly.
It is.
Yeah, the attention spans, I think, of Americans are getting shorter and shorter. I think.
Oh yeah, I think that's worldwide. Everything you have to catch your instant attention.
That's
You're right. You are.
Everything's been measured now by TikTok, 30-second clips.
It's true.
That is true.
I was just saying to someone the other day, I'm like, I wonder if it's in a songwriter's best interest to put the chorus always right at the beginning of the song nowadays.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of songs that do that already.
Yeah. And the standard length of songs now are like 2.5 to 3.5 minutes.
Right.
Whereas back in the day, you always 4 to 6 somewhere in there. So a lot has changed.
But that's okay. Then you guys went on and created the Pena Brothers Productions, right?
Yes,
sure did.
And what happened with it?
We as you probably know, once you're a lover of music, you just can't let that go. So we wanted to kind of keep a foothold in the business, and we were fortunate enough to get a release from all of our contracts. So we got released from our major label, our production deal, our management deal, and it freed us up to do our own thing. So naturally, there were a lot of groups, especially in that time, trying to go the independent route, and so we got in the studio, wrote a bunch of songs, we packaged it, and we didn't know much about the business, right? But we searched and Googled this and Googled that, and found out, hey, we can actually go and get CDs packaged ourselves from through this company, and so we just went through the process. We had a photo shoot done, the whole 9 yards, and we put it out. It didn't really fare as well as we wanted it to, but the experience was worth its weight in gold. Just being able to go through it, learn the ins and outs, and of course, we all know now that the music business has changed dramatically, right? So there aren't too many people holding CDs anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now we're jumping back in this new game, and but we're fortunate now to have a team who they have their intelligence, glued to what's going on right now, and they understand the internet and all the algorithms and what's really popular music. So we're fortunate this go round. We're doing it independently now this time again, but we were able to put a really nice distribution and marketing team together to help us get this new music out that we're putting out.
Oh, that's a blessing. I'm glad.
Yeah. We're excited.
We're definitely excited. So.
Hey, the bottom line is, if you're happy while you're doing it, that's what matters. And it sounds like since you guys took control, it's probably brought you a lot more happiness in what you do.
Oh, it did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was very stressful the first time around, not knowing what was going on, and we were just more like puppets. So
I think right now we're in that little limbo kind of time where we've recorded the first 4 tracks for the LP. We have the next 4 being produced, the music, waiting for a recording schedule to go in and do those songs. Last week we finished the photo shoot, for all our publicity and social media content. On the 19th of November, we shoot the video for the first single, and our tentative release date is December 16th for everything on all platforms.
Awesome.
So now it's the waiting game, and that has us kind of like, oh man, can it go any quicker?
Yeah, the excitement and the anxiety while you wait.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Oh, well, who did you get to meet during the time that was a big influence on you? And did you get to learn anything from any of your idols in the music business?
Oh, wow. We've had a few interesting experiences. Larry and I were in an elevator in Japan. I believe we were in an elevator, or maybe we were in a lobby at the hotel somewhere. Yeah. We met Peabo Bryson.
Nice.
And we spoke to him for a few minutes, and I think Larry asked him the question, so what's the secret in keeping your voice, fresh and going this and that and the other? And I think his response was Lay's potato chips.
He actually had a bag of Lay's in his hand. Right. Yeah, I guess you're telling me.
He said, keeps the vocal cords nice and coated and greasy.
The salt and the grease.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, right. Needless to say, Larry's become a big Lay's man since then.
Yeah, that corporation should be helping him out.
Right.
That's okay.
So we got some pretty good advice from him and some other people. I think we met Tony Bennett. He gave us some great words of advice one time. We met Will Smith in an airport. He gave us some really good advice. So there's been a
cool.
of big names that we come across and had a chance to share the stage with. In fact, we were at a stylistics concert in Japan, I believe it was, and they called us up on the stage, so we got a chance to sing with them on the stage, and that was just like a moment that somebody had to pinch me to let me know it was real, because it was so surreal at the time. So
another big one was the group Taste of Honey actually did Sukiyaki prior to us doing it. Yeah, and one of the surviving member of Taste of Honey was actually in Japan doing an intimate jazz performance with her band, and the interpreters and the managers there, after we did our performance one night, they told us, get out of your suits and all that, get comfortable, we're going to take you guys out to eat. So we go to eat, they take us to this club, lo and behold, here's the original singer of Taste of Honey on stage, and we got to go on stage with her and perform. So that was amazing.
was nice.
Yeah.
That's
Very
very
nice.
interesting.
Yeah, a lot of fun memories. A lot of
Yeah.
fun memories.
What a cool moment that would be.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
We've been blessed and had some cool moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the energy that you guys put out. It's just it makes you feel good. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. You have a great energy yourself.
Well, thanks.
Thank you very much.
I see you like Prince because you got Purple Rain shirt on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely one of the legends right
Yeah,
there.
he is.
Gone too
I'm-
soon, right?
Oh, 100%.
Way too soon.
So many legends we've lost too
Yeah, we've
soon.
lost a
Yeah.
lot of good ones. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't think I own a t-shirt that's not a music shirt. So
Hey,
honestly,
Good. Good deal. Good deal.
nothing wrong with that.
Good deal.
what one of your album tracks do you wish would have been a single?
Oh, that's a good question.
You mean the old album
from the old albums, yeah.
albums? Wow.
We had a
Yeah.
Living
Wow,
Alive would have been a nice thing.
Yeah. Living Alive would have been
Living Alive was on, I want to say, our second album, the Light,
Light
and the Dark album. Produced by a producer named Cliff Branch, and it was a beautiful song. We got a chance to get released as a single. I think it would have done well in that era, that at that time.
Mhm.
Breaking My Heart too.
Breaking My Heart was another good single.
That's one we wrote. Yeah. That was a good one.
Where Are the Words would have been a good one too.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That was a co-write between us and a good friend of ours, and never got released as a single. So there's a few that we wish would have came out. But I mean, as life goes, you never know what's gonna happen, and so we never really, we look back at our experience and we try to appreciate like all the good that it brought. The term accentuate the positive, not really focus on the negative kind of thing. And I think it's brought us good fortune in our lives because we've, a lot of people don't know where we've been, what we've been doing, but we've had good lives. We've had to work, go out there and make money and take care of our families and all that. But God has blessed us with good health throughout all these years and loving families, great children,
good friends,
quality of life.
Roberto and I have grandbabies already. Larry's not quite yet.
I'm not there yet.
but we've really been very rich in terms of family, in that family unity, and so I would say that in terms of the fame and the success, although we never reached that level of fame that we wanted to, we could look back now in our 50s and say, that's not really or would not have been the most important thing anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think the most important thing, we already had that, and we've been able to see that grow and flourish over the years. It's been beautiful.
We just enjoyed the fans. I mean, we had the opportunity to meet a lot of people around the world, and that was great in itself. So.
And those fans will appreciate all the songs, all the tracks on those albums too, which is really nice when people come up to you probably and tell you which songs mean something to them.
Yeah, it's funny because like songs that we never really paid a whole lot of attention to, we get that a lot. A fan will say, my favorite song is so-and-so. We're like, wow, never heard that one. You know what I mean? That was like the last track on the album. We didn't even, it was like the afterthought, right? We need extra. Let's throw that on there. But you're right about that. Everybody's so unique and individual in terms of their taste and style. It really helps you to understand how diversified we are as people. Everybody has different tastes. So the fact that we had so many different styles of songs was kind of nice because we kind of cater to everyone in that sense.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And I noticed like image wise too, you guys always look so slick and so stylish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you guys always choose your own outfits for shoots and such, or did the record label have to put in stylists? How did it work for you?
The record company kind of had all control of the looks and all that stuff. Yeah. But overall, we look back and say, wow, did we actually wear that on the album cover? Like we had on the military style coats with boots and pocket watches. But I mean,
I love that. I thought it was great.
For a lot of people, it did work, But
we didn't pick that though. We didn't pick it. Yeah, we didn't pick. They came out. We were like, okay, we're gonna put this on. Okay, and then when we put it on, I said, it looks pretty cool. All right, that's cool.
This time around, we're more in control. But the challenging thing is not to come off as a group of grandpas, but then not try to come off as a bunch of young teenagers either. So there's that fine line of you gotta be clean cut enough, but then have a little bit of swag as well. So
GQ meets the hood.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? If I think if you look confident when you wear it, that's what matters, no matter what you wear.
There you go.
And I mean, and it's not just being in a musical group where you don't know what to wear anymore. I, as a 43-year-old woman, am like, where do I shop now? I don't want to wear old lady dresses. Like, I'm not ready.
You're 100% correct.
You're absolutely right. No doubt.
That's awesome.
But if you feel youthful and you're rocking what you wear, I think that's what matters.
Yeah, I think the youth. I mean, for me, I'm the oldest of the group, but I've always maintained a young spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, my body's not agreeing with me, but but internally, I mean, my heart and soul, I still feel the same way as back when I was, a kid, a young man.
Right.
So I think that attitude has helped me, in my lifetime. One of the things that I wanted to mention was that during the course of our hiatus, we always did stay in contact. Like, of course, we're family. Larry's not, blood related, but he's our adopted brother, basically. So we still attended, family weddings together, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, unfortunately, funerals.
Right.
We've always kept that bond. And in between there, we always managed to, slide in a rehearsal. I'm always writing something and I'm like, look, I came up with these lyrics, Ray. What do you think? And he'll come up with a melody. And the next time we got together, we'll put a song together. And those songs just went into an archive.
Right.
And now I just recently retired from my 9 to 5, the end of June. I'm sorry, the end of July. And
congratulations.
Thank you so much. So as soon as my time freed up, it was like, okay, fellas, let's go in the studio. They both have recording studios at the house. So we went and started cutting demos and say, okay, well, these are the list of songs that we want to do. Let's get another project going. And here we are.
Wow. Isn't it so nice that you can be in complete control and record your own stuff now? Isn't it great?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You can't really put a price on that sort of creative license, that control. It's really been a whole new experience for us to be able to take some of the songs that we're actually doing on this project were songs that we wrote many years ago. And actually submitted to the labels and they turned them down,
But when you hear them, you're going to be like,
our very first single, in fact, was written that Roberto and I wrote that back in '96, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be our first single out in December. So, I don't think many people will believe it, but we've always tried to lean towards, lyrics that would be relatable and timeless and melodies that would be timeless. So most people won't even believe that it was written that long ago. But
when they hear the track, they're gonna be like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about lyric and melody is that I think you can take a lyric and melody from any era, any decade, and make it current. I mean, look what you did with Sukiyaki, right?
Yes.
True. Very true.
So it really doesn't matter when you originally wrote the song. If it's a good song, it's going to stand the test of time anyway.
Amen.
That's true.
Amen.
That is true.
Yeah.
Right about that.
You're preaching, girl. You're preaching. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what's come over me. I'm just like, I'm so inspired. But yeah,
not to turn the tables, but really quick, if you wouldn't mind telling us your experience with music and your love for music of the 90s and how you got to be a podcaster covering 90s artists.
That's nice of you to ask.
No, it's amazing in itself. Yeah.
Well, I think it's the music that came out, especially in the early 90s. I was 12, 13 years old, so I was very impressionable. I listened religiously to everything that was being played and came out, and during that time, New Jack Swing I was a big fan of. I was watching, I was loving watching Arsenio Hall all the time.
Right. Oh yeah, great show.
I just kind of embraced it all, and it kind of created me musically as who I wanted to be. Eventually, I ended up making my own music. Had a band for 15 years. And when that wrapped up, I said to myself, I was like, what do I want? What do I want to do? I would love to start a show like this and talk about some of the songs and the musicians that influenced me back in the day. So that's how this ended up being.
Wow, ain't that
Wow,
cool?
wow, that's amazing.
What a great story.
That is amazing.
Well, thank you.
Fantastic.
Good for you.
Yeah.
and now here we are. I was telling the fellas that this time around in this effort, everything is happening just so automatically and not so much easy, but it's kind of like if we talk about something and say, okay, we need to do this, and we put it out in the universe, next thing you know, that resource shows up, that connection shows up. Somebody says, hey, I know somebody, let me introduce you. And everything's just been falling into place, like as if the time that we've taken off has finally put us in a place where it's time for us to do this. Because, we've thought about it for years. And we've also had, friends and family. When are you guys going to put out some new music? But bills, you got mortgages, you got car payments, you got kids that are always, hey, I need money for my cell phone. I need money for
kids in college.
All of that stuff kind of prevented us from actually, getting in the lab and putting all the time in. But now, finally, we have the time. We have the right energy, I believe.
Resources.
Yeah. And we have this archive of a multitude of songs. I think we probably each have, between 50 and 100 songs a piece that have they could be just verses, titles of songs. We just took everything that was as close to a song as possible and said, okay, this needs new lyric. This melody needs to be changed here. We also have one of the first 4 songs that we did. It's 2 songs that I wrote, and we took the verses from one song and we took the hook from another song and made a totally complete new one.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Yes. So it's kind of like it's just falling into place, and we're so excited, and we can't wait for the world to hear it. And we're glad you're actually our first interview under this new project.
Oh, good. I'm so happy to share this with everybody.
Thank you.
I appreciate you doing this for us too.
No problem. Is there any kind of technology, especially back then when the internet was new, back in the 90s? And did you guys embrace the internet when it came out, or was it kind of like, I don't know about this?
Yeah, that's
when it first came out, I went and paid money for a computer, but I tried to get on the internet, and it was when you hit the start button. I'm like,
AOL.
Yeah, that's how far back. Funny. But it was crazy. I think the technology that I latched onto was, like I said, in Japan, we got introduced to the mini disc players and different types of portable DAT recorders. I purchased one of the first digital workstations made by Yamaha.
Cool.
Everything on it was in Japanese, so I had to figure out how to, work it, just by pressing the buttons and all that stuff. But all that, anything that had to
no
do
English instructions.
Being able to record the voice and do tracks and pre-demo our songs, I got real attached to that kind of stuff.
Wow. So you did embrace it right off the bat. I think all that exposure in Japan really helped you. You probably ahead of the curve from people back here still hadn't seen this stuff.
Cases, especially with the gadgets. I think we surprised some people with stuff that we came home with.
All right. I want to make sure too. Do you have some social media? Obviously on your shirt. I can tag you in all of those. And your Facebook, your Twitter, everything. Good.
They should all be up and running. We're right in at the start of really starting to upload content. So we just negotiated a deal with, like I said, our marketing team and all that. So because we're releasing in December, I'm thinking probably real soon, within the next
mid-November, we'll start having all the platforms loaded with photos, video clips.
Stuff
over the years, another technology that I latched on to really quick was video. So I have video of performances that we did in Japan when we were, much thinner and younger, and we actually had hair on our heads.
We had hair on our heads.
Don't worry, the Lay's potato chips haven't changed, you guys. You look great.
Thank you. But yeah, so we have all this content. We have flyers from almost all the shows that we ever were performing at. We have the actual tickets to get into the dinner shows that we did, all that stuff. And I have 3 trunks that stack, and the top trunk had all cassettes of demos that we recorded.
Right.
The second trunk had Hi8 videotape cassettes.
Oh, no way. Hi8.
And the bottom, the bottom one was all VHS tapes of stuff that we've done.
Yeah.
And then a slew of photos and magazine clippings, this and that. So all that stuff we had digitally, I'm sorry, enhanced to as close to 4K as possible.
Right.
And all of that stuff is gonna come in as a kind of a history, because the US audience especially never got to see us on stages and in that format. Yeah. It was overseas that really got to see us live on stage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm so glad that you did. Sorry, Larry?
Especially with a band. I mean, we in Japan, we perform with bands all the time.
Yes.
Where here in the US, I mean, we went out on tour with Kim Waters, who was our band director at the time. So we did do a little bit of the band stuff, but not as much as we did overseas. So we got some clippings that people are going to be very interested, like, wow, look at that.
It's always nicer with a real band. Always.
Always nicer. Always.
Because I know sometimes you have to go on like appearances, these TV appearances and whatnot, and you're singing to a backing track, or some of the shows back in the day made people lip sync, right?
Yes.
We did most of ours a cappella.
Yeah. Our tapes would break in the middle of shows, and we would just have to continue a cappella.
And that's how you know you can do it. Everyone knows they're real.
Exactly.
Are there any collaborations you'd like to make?
Wow.
That's a good question.
So many. Like I said, we write our own songs. The first 2 albums, they just push writers for us ahead. And unfortunately, whatever record sales happened, everybody got paid, and we're kind of like, hey, man, if you would have let us do our own songs, we could have seen some money too. But I always admired the songwriter musician, the baby faces, the John Legends, people that can actually sit down, play an instrument, and sing that composition. Unfortunately, I never got the instrument down pat, but you give me some music and a pen and a pad of paper, and I'll go to town. Yeah.
Nice.
So, I mean, he mentioned too, I mean, it would be nice to be able to collaborate with a John Legend, with a Babyface, with an Alicia Keys, and Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
There's a number of people that if they would have us, we definitely would love to do that.
Oh, that'd be gorgeous, just to have the opportunity, or having the opportunity to sing some beautiful a cappella or beautiful harmonies on one of their tracks.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Sure would.
So who can you hook us up with?
I'm far from being the hookup. I tell you, not yet.
I'll tell you an interesting memory that we had. Like Ray mentioned, when we were on tour promoting and doing our shows, we met a lot of celebrities, and we shared the stages with a lot of them. But we got to personally interact outside of the concert venues or radio stations. We were in what's the name of the amusement park in California?
Six Flags? Oh, Knott's Berry Farm?
It was one of the amusement parks. It was one of Los Angeles. In LA.
Yeah.
it wasn't Disney. It was some magic something, whatever.
I'm not sure.
But anyway,
Okay.
we're there. We're on the lines, getting ready to get on a roller coaster, and lo and behold, behind us, it's the 4 members of All for One.
Nice.
So, we've done performances together. We've performed with them in Seattle and in Portland, Oregon. Here we are in LA, and we're just hanging out on a day off. And what was interesting was that everybody else on the line was, is that All for One? Is that 4 p.m. this and that? And what we did to all those people online is that they sang Sukiyaki and we sang So in Love. So they're looking at us, but they were confused. They were like, wait a minute.
Right.
That's not your song.
That's supposed to be the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that makes it fun for
We
everybody.
made friends with them all these years. In fact, D-List is the one that the lead, one of the lead singers for them is the one that we've sort of kept in contact with more.
Yeah, I stay in touch with him regularly. So.
Yeah.
Oh, legends. You guys are all legends. Love it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm grateful for our time today. You've been one of my favorite interviews. You're so lovely. So thank you.
Thanks for having us. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. And we hope to do it again, down the road when once we release some music
I'd be happy to have you back.
We get the new album a little bit out there and more established. We'd love to definitely talk to you again.
I'd like to see what you think about the songs. We want to hear what your input is on.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I'd be down for that. Before we wrap it up, I always like to ask people too about what kind of foods or fashion trends, toys, anything of that line would make you nostalgic for the 90s.
Wow.
Food, fashion trends. It's just recently I went on just a story that kind of takes us back. I went on a vacation, my wife and I. We just took a weekend away, kind of a retreat to get away from the house and the kids and all that stuff. And the resort had an arcade, and all the games were set for free. Like you just hit the button, and they had Pac-Man and Galaxian and all these games. And I was like, it was like a kid at a candy store.
Nice.
There you go.
Because those are some of my favorite games: Pac-Man, Galaxian, and all that. So just the whole Atari phase, the whole. You remember the little football game that used to have the
little line,
dodge the lines, and I don't know if you remember that. You remember that?
I remember those.
But they were like some of the first little digital handheld games that ever came out. I mean,
I remember that. Yeah,
these little digital dots that you just kind of that was you, and you had to dodge the other ones and get and run a touchdown. I think that those were things that I kind of, I guess, just have a memory of being really real fun. And I wish they would bring them back.
Members only jackets. Remember the members only jackets?
Yes. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, he said the members only jackets. I think I would like some of the old fashioned from back in our, I think my 30s.
Okay.
And that era we lived in New York.
Yeah.
And in New York, there was a time where everybody worked a 9 to 5. On Friday, people would go get a fresh haircut, go to the men's shop, and buy a new outfit from head to toe: shoes, socks, slacks, belt, even the coat. And they would meet at a local park. We call it Arthur Park Poe Park. I'm sorry, Poe Park. And everybody's all dressed up to the nines, hanging out and deciding, okay, there's a party at this club, there's a party over here, this and that. Where are we gonna go? Okay, we're gonna hit this one first, then we'll go to that one. Yeah. Everybody can get into a cab, shoot downtown, and party till 6 o'clock in the morning. But the fact is that everybody was clean and crispy. Yeah. When we went to Larry and I went to New York to shop for the photo shoot. I went to all my old stomping grounds to where I knew they had the men's stores with the highest fashions. There was not one left.
Not one left. Yeah. It was heartbreaking.
It was hard. Where you can go get those unique European shoes and slacks, and everything was just, find
us.
It was terrible.
We're coming to Canada. We're coming to Canada.
I live in a city that has like one of the biggest malls in the world, so we'll hook you up.
Hey,
it's got good shopping.
Actually, what part of Canada are you from?
I'm in Western Canada and I live in a city called Edmonton.
Okay.
Hey, okay, all right. We definitely heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
We did Toronto. We did Quebec. We did Montreal, and we did Saskatoon.
Saskatoon.
Yeah, we call it Saskatoon.
Yeah, right.
That was a hilarious experience
It
as
sure
well.
was. It sure was.
Yeah.
I think one of the weirdest experiences I had is we came out of the club. It was a late night show. We came out and it was bright as noonday outside.
Oh, it was like it looked like it was 12 o'clock.
And we were all just shocked, like, what's going on? So we went to the hotel and we couldn't sleep because there was so much sunlight coming in. But they did have curtains to sort of darken the room.
Yeah.
But it was so bright out there. We ended up, I think, going out to breakfast at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. We stood out.
Yeah.
Just a very, very,
confused.
very crazy experience. I don't think we've ever had that happen to us before.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Oh yeah, it's fun in the summer, like obviously at the end of June, the longest day of the year. It doesn't get dark till probably 11:30 p.m. And then, well, where I am in Edmonton, and Edmonton's one of the more northern cities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 11:30 p.m. and then the sun starts coming up around 3:30, 4 a.m.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's so wild. So do people actually stay up and are they running at that to 11 p.m. or
Well, I am a night owl, so I do, but most people, they've got the blackout curtains. I'm sure.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, I thank you so much, guys. You were amazing. I appreciate you.
So much fun. Thanks for making this so cool for us and
thank you
and joyous.